parallelograms that you've seen before. They look like this. It is a quadrilateral. What makes it a parallelogram is the opposite sides are parallel. So this is parallel to this. And write this on your paper. We're going to do like a little note section up here of just things you need to know for this page. So these sides are parallel, and then this is parallel to this. Okay, so we're going to write 4 different things that we need to know for the page about parallelograms. The first thing, and I'm going to do a lot of abbreviating, opposite sides are congruent. So when you have a parallelogram or you're told you have a parallelogram, and I'm also a visual person, I'd rather prefer pictures almost always over words. The opposite sides are equal. So this side is the same length as this, and this side is the same length as this in a parallelogram. Then the next thing that you need to know is opposite angles are congruent. So opposite angles are congruent. And what that means is in a parallelogram, opposite would be like the diagonal angle. So this angle is the same measure as this one, and this angle is the same measure as this. So throughout the page, we're going to use these relationships to solve and find different measures. The next one is consecutive angles are supplementary. So the reason why parallel lines and transversals was on the bell work is because we look at a parallelogram, it's literally parallel lines and a transversal, and therefore there are angle relationships there that we've already learned. And consecutive angles are supplementary. So in a parallelogram, this would be x and y, those are consecutive angles. X plus y equals 180. And also it works this way as well. X plus y equals 180. This is a y here. And last thing that you need to know is that diagonals bisect each other. Diagonals bisect each other. Bisect, that word means that it breaks something exactly in half, like both sides are the same measure. So when we talk about the diagonals of a parallelogram, so here's our parallelogram. Have a diagonal here and a diagonal here. Now those diagonals aren't the same length, like this diagonal is longer than this one. However, they bisect each other at the midpoint of each segment. So this is the same length as this over here, and then this is the same length as this. So these are all actually theorems. I just really simplified them so that way they're easy to comprehend and use on the problems. Okay. Is he ready? Okay. So, are you guys ready for the problems? Some of you looking down, some of you looking up. Okay. Number 1, find the value of each variable. So we're just using these relationships to find variables now. Opposite sides are equal, so if this is 9, then x equals 9. And then opposite sides are equal here, so if this is 15, then y equals 15. And we're repeating that concept for the next one. For number 2, opposite sides are equal, so if this is 10, then n equals 10. Of course, they had to bring in the algebra. To solve for m, we'll just put these equal and solve for m. So m plus 1 equals 5. And then just subtract 1 from each side, and m equals 4. as you know, we're not going to do everyone on the page. We'll just do one part of 3. On 3, I like that they brought in the angles as well. So here it shows that this angle is 105 and it shows the opposite angle here. Opposite angles are equal. So to solve for D, we're going to set these two equal. So 105 equals D minus 21. And then add 21 to both sides. 126 equals D. By the way, for this lesson, it's only this page of practice. I know yesterday's we kind of went on to 3 or 4 pages, but this lesson is only 1 page. It's a little bit shorter than yesterday's. Okay, 5 and 6, find the measure of the indicated angle in the parallelogram. It says find the measure of angle B right here. Remember, opposite angles are equal and then consecutive angles are supplementary. So to find B, which is consecutive with angle A, you can do 180 minus 51 is 129. Let's write this down. Number 6, find the measure of angle N. Again, consecutive with this angle, so we do 180 minus 95 to find the measure, which is 85 degrees. Okay, for the next set of problems, it's looking at this diagram right here. So I'll just go through the things that we need to know. Opposite sides are equal, so this length is the same length as over here, and then this length is the same as over here. Opposite angles are equal, then consecutive angles are supplementary, and then the diagonals hit at the midpoint of those segments. So this length is the same as this, and this length is the same as this over here. And then using that information, we can answer all the questions that they're asking. So it first asks for the length of LM, which is right here. LM and QN are the same length, so LM is 13. So the answer to this is 13. Then LQ right here is the same length as MN over here, so LQ is 8. So the answer is 8. Let's see, LP. So looking at my diagram, LP is right here. It is the same length as PN, so it would be 7. Then MQ, this segment right here, remember the diagonals bisect each other, so if this is 8.2, then this part is 8.2 as well. To find that whole length, I would just need to add 8.2 plus 8.2, 16.4. Okay, and now they're moving into angle measures. So when you identify the angle, just like connect the dots, LMN. So that is this whole measure right here. And I look at what I have. Let's see, I have this angle is 100 and this is consecutive with that. So to find this angle, I can do 180 minus 100 to get 80 degrees. So this angle is 80 degrees, and I'm making a note of that. Next one it asks for is NQL over here. Well, that is opposite the 80-degree angle, so NQL would also be 80 degrees. MNQ, this angle right here is supplementary to that or opposite this, so it would be 100 degrees. And then last but not least, LMQ. Our diagram is so crowded. LMQ right here is actually an alternate interior angle with this angle right here. So it is, so alternate interior angles are equal, so it is 29 degrees. Okay, Down here, we're just going to do 15 and 16. We're almost done. Okay, same concept. So we look at this diagram, see what we can figure out. Remember, you can only solve for one variable at the time. To find n, I have consecutive angles here. So those are supplementary. 180 minus 72 will equal n. That comes out to 108. And then here, opposite angles are equal, so I can do 2m equals 72, and m equals 36. $16, a little bit more complicated, but again, consecutive angles are supplementary, so this plus this equals 180. So b minus 10 plus b plus 10. Somebody's in like a group chat, huh? Somebody want to shut it off? Sounds like a group chat. Okay. b plus b is 2b minus 10 plus 10 would be 0. b equals 90. And then plug the 90 in here, 90 here. We get 80 and 100. Opposite angles are equal, so this would be 100, and then opposite angles are equal, this is 80. Okay, one more thing that shows up on the homework. One of the types of questions that aren't on here that might show up on your homework, it looks like this. This exact question is actually on the homework if you want to jot it down. Find the intersection of the diagonals, and then it gives you 4 points of a parallelogram. Well, in a parallelogram, the diagonals bisect each other, meaning that the diagonals hit at like the midpoint. So if these are two opposite corners, the midpoint of these 2 points would give you where those diagonals intersect. So you could find the midpoint of those 2 points, and that'll be where the diagonals intersect. So 2 and negative 2 would be 0. 5 and negative 3. If the midpoint doesn't jump out at you, just add those two numbers, divide by 2. Then there's 1. And then that's where the diagonal would intersect. The other way to do it would be to graph the numbers if that's more comfortable for you. I'm going to sketch it out here. I graphed those 4 points, and then you could draw the diagonals, and it lands at that midpoint, 0, 1, which is what we found through math as well. So either way works. I have some graph paper up here if you get a graphing question on your homework assignment. But yeah, that is all. So you can get a laptop, get started with your homework. If you have questions, please raise your hand, let me know. Yes, on Schoology. Oh, because